Welcome to Football Analysis. There's been a change in formation in the Liverpool team from a coach that doesn't change. Yes, Jurgen Klopp, famed for his stubbornness to change his system, has experimented with Trent Alexandra Arnold's position in the game against Arsenal, followed by the game against Leeds, and the following games since. Alexander Arnold played as a pivot alongside Fabinho. This video analyses how that worked and whether it's worth sticking to. In the early stages of the game, Alexander Arnold takes up a position alongside Fabinho, forming a double pivot, as the ball had just been played back to the keeper. Arsenal are pressing with 3, so with Alisson in goal, Liverpool now have a player advantage. This sees Liverpool build up with a 3-2 shape, much the same as Guardiola is doing with City at the moment. The difference is that Pep is now using a centre-back to do this. The players are matched up man for man, so Trent keeps his place as a pivot, but we can just see an Arsenal player moving into the picture, and this prompts Trent to move into the back line briefly to offer cover as a centre-back. This just frees up enough time for Konate now in the right back slot to get the ball and play a pass down the line. A situation that we don't want to see too much of though, when the team is in possession, is the two pivots playing so close to each other, and this could leave the team open to counter-attacks, and will also limit the passing options available. Alexander Arnold plays the ball out wide, so Fabinho could be the one to move back and cover the defence. The ball back to the keeper is one of the triggers for Trent to move into the double pivot position, as Liverpool look to build possession. This movement had the greatest effects on his teammates though. Usually we would see Robertson move upfield to take up a position out wide in the midfield line, and he would be ready to move beyond the opposition's back line. However, in this system he is effectively operating as a third centre-back in an asymmetrical shape, and this means that Liverpool are building up in a 3-2-5 shape that will also be a 3-2-2-3. This is a big shift for Liverpool, as they are used to having two players out wide and a midfielder in the half spaces to provide passing triangles. With this system however, they will only have one. But most of all, they are losing Robertson's thrust out wide. The other player who is affected is Mo Salah, who has a void behind him, and this could see him push deeper into his own half, and this is not where Liverpool want Mo Salah. They want him pinning the opposition's left back. With Fabinho alongside him providing the cover, it gives Alexander Arnold more freedom to move between the lines and find pockets of space. This is where Alexander Arnold can find key passes and through balls. In fact, it's more common to see him sitting in front of Fabinho between the lines of the opposition in this new role. As we said before, Pep is using a centre-back to move into the pivot role, and at times Alexander Arnold's role is not too dissimilar to this. Given the proximity to the pivot position, it's inevitable that he will find himself there at times, with this being a much shorter distance to travel than the player in the right back slot. This happens mostly during the build-up phases though, and he is constantly switching positions with Fabinho. The thing about Alexander Arnold is that he can play the simple passes very well to link up play between the lines, but you also want him playing the long defence splitting passes from between the lines too, and this central position gives him the opportunity to play passes to both sides of the pitch. This has been popular with managers lately, and that is the double box in the centre. This should see Liverpool have more control of games and will be difficult for the opposition to mark. If the opposition uses too many players in the centre, this will open up spaces for Salah and Diaz down the wings. As we see with Trent's position in the centre, he potentially opened up space for Salah down the right. Alexander Arnold's position in the centre means he has more freedom to cover other areas of the pitch and is more likely to take up positions on the left hand side. And this is where he will deliver in-swinging crosses for the likes of Darwin Núñez. This is not an uncommon position for Alexander Arnold, but it is one that he can utilise much more as a centre midfielder, and this is where you want the team's best passer of the ball, because it is here where he will deliver through balls and assists. The result of this move is the same as what might be expected from the right back position, but his movement is different. Whereas from the right back slot he might overlap, here he underlaps to get into the perfect position to cross. From a position sitting between the two centre backs, Alexander Arnold is able to create an overload against two Leeds players and move into the midfield. Not many other players in the Liverpool team would be able to play such a perfectly weighted through ball and get his second assist of the game. The player has increased his body mass and become much stronger. We don't know if this was in preparation for his new position or if it's just a coincidence, but this bulk will be useful in times that he will find himself in central defence from the pivot position. Of course, if Alexander Arnold is going to play this position, he is going to need someone alongside him to help. Jude Bellingham would be a dream midfield player for any team, but would he be the ideal partner for Alexander Arnold in his new position? Bellingham is more of a box-to-box midfielder, and this might leave Alexander Arnold a little exposed at times. So perhaps a player like Declan Rice would be a better fit. He is more likely to sit in front of a back 3 or 4 and allow Alexander Arnold the space to create. Alternatively, the answer might lie in a defensive-minded right back. This would mean that Liverpool wouldn't need to go out and spend big on a midfielder. Someone along the lines of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Could we see Klopp changing to a 4-5-1? After all, this would be a way of getting Núñez in his preferred position, while keeping Salah and the others in theirs.